You've often heard me say that exposure brings opportunity. Just make sure it's the right opportunity that causes you to look like an in-demand expert, not a desperate guest. Hi, this is Tom Schwab with Interview Valet. And for today's podcast guest profits tip of the day, I want to talk about positioning yourself as an expert. And let me give you a couple examples here and put yourself in the buyer's shoes. So let's say I got diagnosed with prostate cancer. What expert would I look at? Who would I want to go to? Would it be the guy that was advertising above the urinals that got massive exposure at every urinal? Or would I want to go to the surgeon that I had seen on a respected national podcast or national show that was recommended by someone? One got more exposure, the other one got better exposure. Or how about as a business owner? I've got some legal battle that's super important to me and my business. Now, do I call Saul Goodman because I saw him on a late night television show, a commercial in Albuquerque, New Mexico? No, better not call Saul. Better call somebody that is respected, that you saw on a respected area, that was introduced to you by a trusted person. You see, more podcasts don't mean better. More is not better. Better is better. And I speak from experience on this. I've personally been on over 1,200 podcast interviews. And a lot of people go, that's amazing. Well, I'd also say the majority of those podcasts didn't move the needle. While they did help me come up with the system that we use and learn a lot of things for the checklist, I would not advise you doing the same thing because you're judged by the company you keep. So, for example, I was talking to someone the other day, and it was a prospect, and they said, I've done one podcast. Here's the link to it. I listened to it. I had never heard a podcast host record the Skype call from the time it started to ring, and then it was posted up there. I'm like, if I was trying to get on another podcast, this is not what I would use for the proof source. Now, another one said, well, I've been on lots of podcasts. I think she had been on over 60 podcasts this year. And I'm like, well, that's great. And she's like, yeah, but a lot of them I know were just a complete waste of time. Some of them didn't go live. And, other ones just had nothing to do with what I was talking about. And I'm like, well, I love that you're helping people out. And I think that's important to be open to going on different shows. But don't think that just because you went on 10 times as many podcasts, you're going to get 10 times the result. Make sure you get that return on investment. And even though it's not costing you anything, it's costing your time. So often you'll see big celebrities. If Tony Robbins is promoting a book, he may do lots of small shows, and God love him for doing that. But he makes sure that it works around his schedule, and they're probably 15-minute shows. I actually remember somebody telling me that worked for his organization that he was like a machine. For 10 hours, he could do 40 interviews, just one after another. So make sure that as you're doing these things, that it's building your brand, that it's building your credibility, your resume, if you will. So when people check you out, it's easy to get on podcasts. Right now, there's over 1.1 million. What you want to focus on is getting on the right ones. So before you just go and sign up for a Craigslist to put yourself out there, or go to any Facebook page that says be a guest, want a guest, find a guest, and you just put, I'll talk to anyone, anytime. Just make sure you look and say, is this consistent with my brand? Is this who I want to be? There's a great book called The Business of Expertise, right up there. And David C. Baker wrote that book. Fantastic book that talks about positioning yourself as an expert. And he talks about the importance of being very focused in what you talk about, valuing your time. And a lot of great things. It's a great book for consultants. It's also a great book for podcast guests. So just look at yourself and say, what is your strategy? The strategy for podcast guesting right now. And what I'm doing, is that helping me to get to the next level? Is that helping me be seen as an expert that is in demand? Or is it just making me look like somebody that is desperate to get on any show?